So I might not share a YouTube video that I know can benefit others. And my definition of otherness includes even my brothers. Acharya, I want to know in what ways can this tendency harm me and others? I have seen people who share freely what they know, and therefore I want to understand where this attribute is coming from. Also, whether this attribute is present in all of humanity in varying degrees. Amrish, in the world, in the domain of material objects, it so happens that there are things and it is possible that if one has something, the other one may not have it. And the fact that the other one does not have that thing does not affect the ownership of the one who has it. Sometimes, in fact, in the world, it is possible to have a thing only if the other one does not have it. Often it is a zero-sum game. But these things happen only in the realm of material objects. You have a television, somebody else does not have it, and that does not necessarily affect your TV watching experience. It works that way. In the spiritual domain, however, it does not quite work out that way. We will have to first of all go into the fundamentals and ask what the spiritual domain first of all is. In spirituality, the aim, the practice itself is the dissolution of the toxic and self-defeating and neurotic and suffering I sense. That is the objective of all spirituality. That is the aim in spirituality. So when we say that is the objective of spirituality, that is the object to be attained. Correct? So in the world, the object to be attained is, let's say, money, or as we said, a television, or fame, or other goods. In spirituality, the object to be attained is the dissolution of I. That is the object that you want. The I wants dissolution of I. The I has had an insight, and the I says, I am my own trouble. I want my own dissolution. Thereby, the objective in spirituality is the reduction of the feeling of self and the feeling of otherness. I'm getting it? So in the world, you want a TV for yourself. In spirituality, you essentially want to get rid of the self itself. In the world, you want the television for yourself. In spirituality, you want to get rid of yourself. So in the world, it is all right if you have the TV and the others don't have it. In spirituality, when the object itself is to reduce the sense of self versus others, how then can you have spirituality only for yourself? When you talked of knowledge, I presume you talked of spiritual knowledge. Get the difference? The more you accumulate something spiritual only for yourself, the more it is proven that you have miserably failed in the spiritual sense. Spiritual knowledge will tell you that the very self that accumulates knowledge is the cause of suffering. Spiritual knowledge will come to you and say to you, sir, the one, the I sense, the self that accumulates stuff for itself, considering itself to be separate from the rest of existence, is itself the cause of its trouble. How then in spirituality can you have spiritual knowledge only for yourself? If you are accumulating spiritual knowledge only for yourself, it means either or both of two things. That knowledge is sham, the self is both stubborn and suffering. So if you have knowledge only for yourself, then you don't have knowledge at all. Because had you had any knowledge, you would have seen the falseness of the self. And had you seen the falseness of the self, the knowledge would have proceeded from you to the so-called others as well. Don't let spiritual knowledge be wasted on you. If it is not radiating from you to others, then it hasn't come to you in the first place. If it has really come to you, then it will proceed from you to the others. Because that is the very nature of spiritual knowledge. It comes to you and tells you, you are not real. The boundary that you have drawn between yourself and the world is not only unreal, but also quite tormenting. Don't give that boundary credence. Don't support it. If in spite of spiritual knowledge you continue to support the I boundary, saying I have knowledge, why should I give it to others? Then do you have any knowledge at all? Knowledge has failed on you. You are asking, where is this tendency coming from? The tendency to not to share stuff with others. This tendency is coming from the basic illusion, which is individuality. I exist as a unique and distinct person. I am separate. In some sense, I am special. That is the fundamental illusion. And it's not that we are terrible fools to harbor that illusion. There are reasons why we remain with that illusion. We find that when we get hit, it's only we who get hit. When we bleed, it's not the hand of the other that oozes blood. When we eat, then we eat. The other's stomach doesn't get full. When we get money, then it gets written against our name. It's not getting distributed in the rest of the world. So, we have seen these things happening in the material domain, and that makes us think that we are separate from the rest of existence. But upon closer observation, with clearer insight, one sees through, cuts through the illusion of distinctiveness, separatedness. The divisions, the separations, the distinctions, the uniquenesses are all superficial. The deeper you go into yourself and others, more similarities you find. You go yet deeper and you find sameness. You go yet deeper and you find that it is becoming difficult to say where you end and where the other begins. It's almost the same thing in two names. How then to differentiate? How then to keep something to yourself? Not that it is unethical, it's impossible. If the thing is real, it will get spread. If you are able to keep and contain something to yourself, then the thing is anyway not worth keeping and containing. If there is something worth having, then you cannot just limit it to your own pocket or to your own brain. If it is real, it cannot be possessed. If it can be possessed, it's worthless. That will tell you the nature of all possessions and possessiveness. If you can have it personally only for yourself, it's not worth having. And that which is worth having, I repeat, cannot be limited to yourself. It's just too big, too vast to be owned and possessed. Your hands are too small to keep it to yourself. So, get the real thing. And when you'll have the real thing, you will find that you are helpless in front of it. Your entire being will sing of it, express it, radiate and spread it. It would be a kind of compulsion. As I said, you won't be able to help it.